Take it away.
Okay, so I'm Ebony,
I'm Matthew.
and we spoke with Sonia Nunez, who is the program director at the CSUF Children's Center on campus. Pretty much some background on the Children's Center. They were founded by students in 1971, and they're pretty much funded by students and run by the students. They're operated by the ASI, Associated Students Incorporated, and they also receive funds from like the California Department of Education. And like a little interesting fact was that they were originally located off campus, and they had rented spaces, and then they moved to a garage, and then they relocated to temporary buildings on campus, and then they started building the new facility, which opened up in 2011. Yeah, opened up in 2011, which is down by kind of by the traffic station. Yeah.
Really nice new building, so you can see how far they come from going from a garage to this really nice building.
So the need questions, the need that the problem is addressing, they have quality care for children or student parents. That's like their mission. They want to have that quality care and make sure that the students, the parents as well as the children are receiving the best possible services. And it also allows the parents to persist with graduation. A lot of times if a student were to get, pregnant and have a child, and that sometimes can interfere with a student's education. So their main goal as well is to allow these parents to be able to persist, and by doing that, they have flexible schedules so that cooperate with the student-parent school schedule. So the parent goes to school at night, they still work with the parent so that the parent can receive those concert services. The services allow for a means for the students to be in school as well, and they provide nutritional meals and educational curriculum to the students.
So you can see that the program actually has two groups of people who benefit from it, both the parents and the children. Okay, so the data demonstrates that this problem exists. So we had to alter the questions a little bit. We asked her what data demonstrated that the services exist and are doing what they think they do.
Not that the need exists. You're not asking. You didn't ask them. How do we know that people need childcare on campus?
Well, I guess they did that. They received the financial support from the Department of Education in 1999, 2001, and 2009. So that they felt that was significant information that they had been receiving from assistance from a federal agency for many years. And they said that was some data that demonstrated the need for the service. In November 2009, they officially were moved into that new building. So you could tell that there was a demand by the students, because it's all paid for by the students and ran by the students. You can tell that the students on campus here believe that it's an important service because they were given to the building. And they've been continuously supported by, like I said, the Federal Department of Education and the OC Department of Education and the National Association of Education of Young Children and the ASI. So they have lots of people who are rooting for them, and those are all ways that they help demonstrate the need. And their enrollment rates have been steady and increasing for some time now.
And then, like I mentioned before as well, just being able to have these come to the parents, it may get kind of, I'll just say parents for the sake of the presentation. Having these parents who, may be struggling, trying to provide a child care off campus and going from picking up their child off campus to going to school, they want to be able to have that, a really accessible means for the parents to be able to complete their education as well as have a reasonably fair, low price child care system, which is very convenient because it is on campus as well. And then how have the services changed over time, and how has it changed? Well, the changing the physical location, which I mentioned before, has changed, and it's also added to the enrollment because a lot more people found out about the new facility. They wanted their children to be enrolled into this new facility, so that kind of ups the enrollment process. And then also I mentioned already how they provided the services in the garage and just increasing, providing services for the increased demand. And then also the methods that are used to identify community services, they have campus advertising, and also word of mouth. And then she talked about like in-class presentations like today, kind of a means of advertisement, and just being a presence, having that presence on campus, whereas other facilities are off campus. You know, you're familiar with it because it's actually on site.
What data is collected by your personnel and when they're hired by who. So on their application process, they ask for a lot of information. So they ask for GPA, transcripts, fingerprints. They require a TB test. If licensing is applicable, if they have master's level, they have a director certificate required and a teaching certificate required for certain positions. And they have continuous education accreditation training. And this is also led by the program director, who is responsible for hiring and training on leadership.
And the evidence of the staff skills and qualifications, there's the program director, which is Sonia, who we spoke with, and the assistant director, staff coordinator, and there's the master's teachers, student interns, and parent volunteers as well. They must follow the regulations of the Department of Education, the OT Department of Education, and also the ASI requirements, and ASI is one of the funders as well. And the Children's Center staff, they're early childhood specialists, and they hold Children's Center permits like Matthew just mentioned, or the teacher's credentials by the State of California Department of Education. And they're assisted by the student trainees and interns from various university departments. And other volunteers come from like the high school students and parents studying child care as well.
The parents are actually not required, but highly recommended to play an active role as part of the program.
And also the adult to child ratio, they have 1 to 3 for infants, 1 to 4 for toddlers, and 1 to 8 for preschool children as well.
And we didn't put the comparison rates, but she told us that they're significantly higher. So you could basically multiply each of those by 3 or 4. That's what the average agency outside in the community would be like. So the data that's collected during the application process off the volunteers, they're looking mainly for people who are in the field and have experience, have the applicable credentials, who don't have any criminal history, and who pass the background checks because they were working with children. After they've been taken in as interns, each employee goes through 88 hours of training per year. So she sat down and she listed all the different trainings, and she added them up to be 88 hours per year. Some of them are groups, some of them are individual, one-on-one training. And then the master's level permit training through the Commission of Credentials, and this okay, so the master's level teachers, they get their training, and then they provide 10 hours of additional training.
And then how they monitor staff performance, they have quality assurance surveys twice a year. They're also required to report to government agencies. They have weekly staff meetings every Friday, and they also have annual reports of all the compiled information. And how do we know that the appropriate clients are receiving the services? The Children's Center's goals are to provide the support to student parents through the quality care of the children. And also the appropriate clients are known through the number of children enrolled in the parent quality survey.
What data indicates that the activities the agency is doing is actually being conducted by the staff and being done at a level and duration specified. So they have quality rating systems for just about everything. That was a big answer for a lot of things. She would tell us we had surveys for that. We had surveys for many of the questions we asked. And another way they do it is through the DRDP, which is a individualized education plan for each of the children. That was one significant thing that they said that they did that I had never heard of for child care agencies, having an individualized plan for each of the students or each of the children. The supervisors are required to have master's teaching credentials, and then through the supervision of the interns and by the volunteers of the master's teachers. So basically it goes back to having surveys of parent surveys also
student outcomes, what outcomes, client outcomes do you measure? It measures the DRDT once a semester. They also measure the quality of the services, quality of education, and the teacher's growth through the training. The surveys of parents, they also have infant toddler educational rating systems, which kind of pretty much monitor and rate how much the child's grown educationally through the program. And then the child enrollment, which they measure once a year. And then also they're required to follow all the standards of the governing board, which is reported annually.
What standard do you consider a success? That's what we asked them, and they said that the existence of the program, despite the lack of funding from outside agencies, so she said keeping the doors open. That was her definition of success for the agency. And if they continue to support their students, because it's for the students, by the students, and maintaining an adequate client load. And there was a understanding that they really had a lot of pride in the idea of giving quality services. So I think that was something adding.
And then the data that they use to evaluate the program's effectiveness, once again, the surveys, the quality care surveys, parent surveys, their annual reports. They also had random visits from the state, and then the ongoing assessment of each child's developmental progress with the program. And then do participants gain the knowledge of the problems through the program? The parents are required to participate in 8 hours of volunteer service to the Children's Center once a semester, so that kind of gives them a little heads up as to what their children are going to be experiencing and what they can get out of the program as well. And they also, the Children's Center offers various trainings for parents, such as like nutritional classes, parenting skills, and educational trainings as well.
So what method do you use to determine whether your program operations are cost effective compared to similar programs? So they would do cost analysis. They would compare their budget to the average community cost of other care agencies. And their budget was often higher. She told me that their budget was often higher because of that increased level of quality and that higher ratio of staff to students. What are the benefits of the program to the stakeholders other than the immediate clients and their families? The staff members, they got their children be enrolled, so that's a huge benefit for the schools who have children there. And the staff members will also receive medical, dental, and retirement benefits. And other than that, a more highly educated community, and if more people are being educated now, a more highly educated future.
Another thing that she mentioned too was that, she mentioned that just doing the job that she loves, because a lot of the staff members that work there absolutely love working with children and working at the children's center. So being able to do a job that you love and getting paid for it is another added benefit that she mentioned as well. And the services offered by the program that are done by volunteers, they are the implementers of the teacher's curriculum, and they also coordinate various activities such as staff appreciation. They have, during finals week, they provide, they have like little care packages that they put together for the parents, and they also assist with providing resources for the classrooms and purchasing necessary items for the program. And pretty much anything else that needs to be done, the interns kind of, the volunteers will kind of take charge of that.
So when we asked if any of the portions of the service were underutilized, they said that advertising was a big issue because a lot of people are unaware of the services offered here, especially on campus. They do it through word of mouth with the presence, but there's not that much word of mouth and not that much presence.
Like we rarely would, like walking through campus, you don't really see advertising from the children's center unless like you're actually back there at the children's center. So.
And relatively low enrollment. They told us they have a current caseload of 158 children, and maximum capacity would be 180. So that could be an area where they could be more efficient, especially with the high ratios. What makes this location optimal for client access and how it is evaluated? Just being on campus, on site, is a huge benefit to the students because parking alone is terrible. So the parents can come here and do it all in one sitting, drop off the children and go straight to class and come pick them up, and it really streamlines also makes it more convenient if they were to take more initiative with the advertising. If they're already here, they could increase the presence here. Exactly. What methods did they use to determine the effectiveness of their specific programs? They did some pre and post tests for the individualized testing plans for the children. They would use the pre and post test and satisfaction surveys, the parent satisfaction surveys, lots and lots of surveys.
And with friends, as you mentioned before, they guided the quality care for their children, which aligns with their mission. And then they support the education of the parents. So like when it's final week and the parents are really stressed out, they're there supporting them, letting them know that they care about them with those final care packages. And they also have a study room that the parents can use, and they also offer free printing. And then the ratio of the staff to the children is really good, so that your child is receiving, that one-on-one kind of attention. And they have a brand new facility, and then they support their staff members as well.
And another strength that we didn't put on here with this company is that the prices were incredibly cheap. For the quality that they have, it is incredibly cheap for students. Some of the weaknesses that we saw was when she didn't give us a lot of direct information. When we asked for maybe some more specific information to some of the questions, she would get inside kind of the survey where she would say we take surveys for that and not give us much more information than that. So it would be nice if they just took all the surveys and consolidated the information so we could give more set in stone statistics. Another weakness would be their marketing and outreach team. Like she said herself, that the advertising of this program is underutilized, and that's definitely one weakness. We said that they rely too heavily on surveys, and it could be beneficial to do a different approach or to consolidate all surveys somewhere and make some sort of presentation. And service costs are more expensive than similar services in the community. So she said that it's more expensive they have a higher budget than similar agencies in the community. And she attributed that to having higher quality services. But for me, being in this class, it was hard for me to think that was cost efficient.
Good catch.
And then, so there's not much hard data. One of the weaknesses that I caught was that the idea of success was her saying our doors are open. This seemed kind of like a low bar to set. And then, like I said, it wasn't the most cost effective because of those really high ratios. Even though they seemed like they were very proud of it and they tried to focus on quality, cost-wise, I think that's
Okay, give these guys a hand.